Welcome, Natalie. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Tammy. It's good to be here.
Well, we are interviewing Natalie today because Natalie is going to be a facilitator on the day of our very first event. So
Yeah.
we have the beautiful signage for WEFest, which is the Women's Empowerment Events and Festivals. We are running 3 events and a festival here on the Gold Coast to support women with their own self-empowerment. We have an amazing array of women that are facilitating, either on stage or at a stall. So today I wanted to have a chat to Natalie about what also drew her in to WeFest, and a little bit about her so our audience can get a taste before they come along to the event. So thanks again for being here. What drew you in to the Women's Empowerment Events and Festival?
The title itself, Women's Empowerment, means so much to me. Coming from the last few years in my life, where I've done a complete transformation, and I've realised that there's a lot more to life than I knew then, and that I have a lot more power inside of me than I knew then, and that I can achieve a lot more than I knew that I could. So I've gone into a space where I want to help women do exactly that as well, because I think a lot of us don't realize the internal power that we have, and the things that we can actually achieve when we believe in ourselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
And I've met a lot of the ladies who will be facilitating on the day, and it is going to be a really, really good event. I know everyone's got something to offer, and we're all here to support each other and make each other grow. So I'm really, really, really excited and happy to be a part of this.
Beautiful. We ran a workshop yesterday, so our facilitators, we all could meet because this is about community. We all have that deep yearning and desire to actually connect with one another, not do this journey on our own anymore. And I think definitely here on the Gold Coast there's something happening. Don't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful place that we live in, and we're absolutely blessed, to be on the happy side of life, as I call it. And we're a relatively safe environment, and we've got all the things that we want. Some of us are luckier than others in terms of the things we have around us and the people that we have around us and support us. But yeah, I definitely think there's a good vibe on the Gold Coast. But I also think that a cushy life, and sometimes the fact that we do have it so good can is a blessing, but it can also be a curse at the same time, because it makes you kind of sit back and kind of just chug along with life, because your life's sort of good, but you don't really realize that it can be a lot better. So you kind of sit there in your comfort zone and you don't really tend to go out of it. So yeah, it's twofold.
Totally. I definitely agree. So you'll be holding a stall on the day, so you'll be there all day for the attendees to come and meet you and get to know what you're about and how you can serve and support them.
Yeah.
Without giving away too much, can you give us a little taste test of what you'll be offering or delivering on the day?
Yeah, a little sneak peek. I will show you how I got up to scratch, I guess, up on track with my life, and see how that all fits in with you. I have a personal development program that I offer over 12 months, and I also do workshops to help people get on track with their lives. So really it starts with goal setting, finding out what's important to you, setting some goals that are really true to your purpose, setting the right goals, and then achieving them with an action plan, and then the actual empowerment, the tools that will help you, really negotiate with life, and all the distractions of life, and all of the stresses and the doubts and the fears and everything that goes on. You'll learn to deal with. I also have a health focus to one of the programs that I offer, with over 70% of Australian community society being now overweight. Is something that I feel very passionate about, and I feel like it doesn't have to be like that. So I have a program that will help you help people that struggle with it, and that it is a struggle for, to actually get out of that yo-yo kind of way of, dieting and then, losing weight and putting on weight, and all the emotional baggage that will give you as a consequence as well, and how that then impacts society. So really getting on track with that and coming up with long-term results to live a life with automaticity, where healthy choices become normality and you won't even have to think about it. So it really goes for, not just weight loss, but general health and mental health as well. So it really all just ties in together, and it just really depends on where you're at and what you feel that you need to improve. I feel like I have the tools to, make you deal with life and make sure you can, live the life that you want to live and achieve everything that you've ever dreamt of.
Beautiful. That's what we're here to do, isn't it? Enjoy ourselves. We've had enough, I feel, stress and strain, and that's when we're having these breakdowns. Life has just gotten too much. Our autopilot is not serving us. Our health is getting broken down in a myriad of ways. And a lot of people are really, really struggling and suffering. Yeah. And a lot just don't know where to turn, what's even wrong. That to me is a cycle in itself, to understand that you don't feel right. There's something not quite right, but you're not getting the answers and you don't know even where to begin. Whereas what you're offering is the perfect way to begin. You've got that support when you might feel it's a health concern, but at the end of the day, it's just one level or one area of life that will have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
In all areas of life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It starts with the awareness, really, of seeing what's wrong, because we feel so guilty as well. We have these, looking at my story, and I had a, seemingly perfect life, 2 beautiful children, a supporting husband, and people around me that I love and that support me, and great job and whatever else. But, I wasn't feeling happy, and I was feeling so guilty for that. And, it's just got to start somewhere, and it has to start with you, in giving yourself the time to really figure out what's going on inside you. So that's where your journey starts.
Exactly. And this is exactly why we're doing these events. And you've touched on what I feel is not necessarily spoken about. I'm personally really resonate with what you're saying, is we look around us, and obviously these events are here on the Gold Coast. So we look around us and we live in paradise. We absolutely live in paradise. But when you don't feel happy and appreciative of that, in this world that everyone should be grateful of everything, and we're getting forced to have gratitude diaries, but yet we just don't feel it. Yeah. So naturally, all of those layers that come up of the guilt, of we should feel better, we should be happy, we should be all these things, but we're not. That to me is a vicious cycle. That to me is our mental health.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear a bit more about, if you're happy to share with us a bit more about your journey, I guess what that really means for you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I in the last 2 years, I guess about 2 years ago, I wasn't feeling too good about myself. I was just chugging along with life. I was totally exhausted from having 2 children. They're now 4 and 5. So totally exhausted with that, and I was working long and hard hours in a corporate and a very demanding corporate role, and I was just exhausted. I hit burnout, I guess, and when I come home at the end of the day, there was just nothing left for my family. I had nothing left in the tank, and I was just exhausted. And I didn't realize, how miserable I actually was. But so I didn't really do anything about it. I just kind of felt awful. From time to time, I had good days and bad days, but I remember feeling that I just couldn't rely on myself, because one day was okay, and then the next day I was a mess, and I just couldn't control it. And I was like, what's wrong? But I didn't do too much about it, because I was just very sort of consumed, and I'm busy, and I was lucky enough, I guess, in terms of the circumstances. And what happened then was that I was made redundant. And from my job of 13 years with one company, and obviously there's a big impact and a big change in that alone that pushed me to a different circumstance. And also my dad passed away that year. Sure. And so it was a tough year for me, but it pushed me to change. And I then obviously started contemplating and thinking about my life and assessing my life, and realized then that I needed to change. So something needed to change. So the first step was to go and get counseling. And I did that, and I was told that I had to spend 20 minutes a day just to be me, to meditate, to exercise, to do yoga, or just spend time with me and think and contemplate. Just give myself some time, really. And it took me weeks to even be able to do. I mean, I just couldn't do it. But little by little, once I started implementing that, that was what helped me. And I started realizing that looking after myself is really where it needs to start. It's like that air, you know, when you're on the plane and they do the safety instructions, and, you know, in the case of emergency, you put on your gas mask first before you put it on your kids. It's like that. You know, you've got to look after yourself before you look after others, and that's just really where it starts. So then little by little, I started believing in myself again. And I think also that my dad, then having passed away, he, you know, helped me from where he was, to really build myself up again and start believing in myself again. So he lifted me up. So I had, you know, those two things that really helped me push for change. But I realized there and then I was sort of comparing his life and comparing my life, and he was pretty awesome. And I knew when I grew up that I always thought that I would be awesome. I just thought that I would have a really super cool life and that I would be just smashing it, you know. I just don't know where that confidence came from, but obviously from them, from my parents. But I just hadn't seen or felt that part in me for a long, long time. So I started then gradually believing in that, and I thought, you know what, there's so much more in there, and I just need to change. So I realized then that I had to change my thinking. I had to change my thinking to change my outcome. So that's what I started doing. So I started, luckily, you know, I had time to myself. I had time to read and research and go to events and go to seminars that inspired me, and that helped me with self-improvement, really. I took on concepts and I just really opened to receive, you know, what it was that was out there for me. And I realized that there was a whole big world out there, lots of opportunities, and also in here, things that I could actually offer to people. So yeah, so that's what and then I changed, you know, my life around. I'm still on my path, obviously, and I have a long way to go, and we always do. Life is a journey, and so is your road to fulfillment. But I'm living a much more fulfilled and balanced life now. But I still have so much more awesomeness to come out of me, and I also know that then that in a way, you know, when those things happened, that they felt pretty crappy at the time, of course, but that they were a blessing. I was lucky, and I know that other people aren't as lucky as that to actually have something happen. So that's when I found the program that I coach. It's called the YB12 program. And so it really is about to have the best 12 months of your life, and then ongoing from there. Now, the content in that program resonated with me and was really, resonated with my transformation. And so provided then all the tools to go through what I went through. It's a good structure, and it's a really applicable to anyone really that wants to change, and that's what's so easy about it. And so then I can help people that haven't necessarily, you know, had something major happen, but really just realizing that that they can change, that they have the personal power to actually do that, and also just ongoing, because even if I had an epiphany, you know, a couple of years ago, doesn't mean that life goes on and everything's going to be perfect from now on. You know, I'm a student of my own program, and I apply those things. You know, I apply the concepts and the things that I learn, and I improve and get better and better every day in everything that I do. So yeah, that's the gist of it. And I just
Right.
want to help other people do that as well.
Yeah, perfect. So perfect. Because the way you speak about those scenarios, people could be going through a redundancy right now and be completely lost and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But they can see your attitude and, oh, she's fine. I could be fine too, you know.
Yeah.
So this is perfect. This is why we really do want to share where people have been through, because we just don't wake up one day and have this service to offer. We didn't study necessarily anything. We've gone on a personal journey for us to get to this point, and this is why we're so deeply passionate about helping other women, because this is a personal journey. This is not us going to school to study. We have done courses, we have studied different modalities, but essentially what we deliver is all of us. It's actually what has helped us get through those really tough times in life. And
Yeah.
it's the people we've met, the events we've attended, it's the posts that we read on Facebook. You know, we actually are accumulating a lot, which is only just a confirmation of what we actually truly believe and what we feel inside us, essentially, anyway. It's just that beautiful journey back to ourselves so we understand what our truth is and not operate from what society tells us we should be living or how we should be living or what we should be doing. So it's a big journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're totally right. You're absolutely right. And I think, too that sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, you're absolutely on the ball, and it's all about your own journey and what works for you. And the things that we accumulate definitely, will give the next person some help towards their journey. And I think for me, it's the reasons why I'm doing this is really, the first one is self-realization. I think I really feel strongly that life is too short to be unhappy or unfulfilled. So finding, helping someone finding their power to be to be happier and more fulfilled, it will impact the world in a positive effect. Then there's the ripple effect.
Exactly.
Because if you're a better person in yourself, then you're going to be a better mother, you're going to be a better friend, you're going to be a better partner, and in your close network, and also towards your larger network and to the rest of the world, of course. So
Exactly.
so and if everyone would be happier, the world would be a better place. I truly believe that.
Exactly.
Win-win, and I love win-wins.
Sorry, and you?
Love win-wins.
Yeah, exactly. And it is, we're going through such a mass transformation that we're actually starting to realize our power, and we actually do need to look after ourselves, when once upon a time it was still called selfish. And there's probably still a lot of people out there today that feels guilt over what we would call selfish, or people calling other people selfish, when if we're not looking after ourselves, nobody gets looked after, nobody gets any help, and there is no ripple effect. And this is why we live in the world that we live in. So exactly what you're saying, it is about looking after number one, because when we're full up, that's when we become that overflow.
Yeah, because if our intentions are right, which they are, we're grown up, mature women. Not all of us, but obviously you're not grown up and mature. But if our intentions are right, then you're using all that energy to the right things. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Exactly. So we're going to have so much fun. So this is again why we're doing these events, because there are so many tools, there are so many techniques, there are so many modalities, there is so much that we could also then get stuck in that world of learning and seeking and searching, that why we're running these events is to give an array to our attendees, to our audience, so they can start to feel what feels right for them. So they can source the people, the services, whatever support they actually need to help them on their journey. So this is why we're not this is how you do it. We've all got our own journey, and we can give a little bit from all of us to really support our network. So I like that you've given that range.
Yeah, and everyone's got, a circle, or everyone's in a different part of the process in their lives, and everybody informs and consumes information and concepts in a different way. So you're going to find different ways that people are consuming this, and things that really relate and resonate to people. They're all different. So I think we're a really good mix on the day, that there will be something for everyone.
Totally. And a beautiful blend of all of the above as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good time. So we know that this kind of work can be heavy, and it can feel like you almost have to be more connected to or aware of your pain and trauma, but that's not what we're necessarily doing. We're coming together to support each other to move through wherever we're at. Yeah. And that is actually an enjoyable process when we do it together. But that's the big key I feel is going to be really different to this event. A lot of people can feel that trepidation about thinking that their wounds are really going to come to the surface, and they're not ready for that. We don't do that.
No, we don't do that. There is a balance to everything, but we keep it quite lighthearted, unless you want to go there. That's totally up to you.
Totally. That's it.
What you want to do and how you want to achieve it, or what you want to achieve out of it.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone will have
space.
An array of support. So thank you very much for talking with me today.
Thanks for having me.
You'll be facilitating on the day on the 16th of June. But what we'll do is we'll add all your links. So are you happy for the community to contact you for whatever reason if they can't make the event, or if they really feel drawn to you and your story, and they want to know a bit more about you? Are you happy for WEFest community to contact you and see what you're all about?
Absolutely. I want to know more about you and your journey, how I can help and how you can help me. It is an exchange after all. Where you're already watching this, and I'm already sitting here giving you my time, and you're giving, us your time. So we're already giving each other something,
Exactly. It's beautiful. Beautiful to feel that. It's that centered space, when you are connected like that, you actually we can relax. Our walls come down.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
That's it. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just, better. People are scared of, getting better, because then what does it take, but it's just gotta let go. That's it. Just let go and surrender and be happy.
That's it. We've got you. We're here holding space. So whatever comes up, you're going to have a beautiful array of women that are there to enjoy the process, but to also hold space if you need. So everyone attending is really going to get everything that they need and some.
Yep. Beautiful. No, I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for your time, and I look forward to having some fun on the day with you on the 16th of June.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. See you soon.